Back to another episode of Day One Radio. We appreciate y'all listening with our partners on CLNS Media and watching on Live Hip Hop Daily each and every week. As you see and as you hear, my brother Maurice is not here today, but he will be back with us next week. As you know, we always bring you stories that haven't been told before, or we tell the stories that have been told in the right way. And I've been listening. I want to say this brother is the first cat that I ever listened to a podcast from. Back when I was living in New York, ran into my homie Josen Cummings, shout out to Josen, at Bleacher Report on the train, and he was laughing his ass off. I'm like, bro, what is you listening to? And he's like, man, it's this Mac lesson shit, bro. This cat named Tariq Nasheed. This shit crazy, bro. You got to check it out. I had never even used the iTunes app then. It was on my iPod. It's not even an iPhone. Yeah. And started listening, man, and I've been listening ever since, man, and I'm also a listener to IZM Radio, man, so we want to welcome Tariq Nasheed, Laila and Bri to the podcast. How y'all doing?
Thank you. So Day One Radio.
Yes, sir, and welcome to Atlanta as well, even though I know all of y'all have spent time and done a lot of stuff in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Over time, man. So IZM Radio, what you guys going on like 2 years now, right?
Has it been?
Yeah,
you know what? I never thought of it.
It's been a year for me.
For her, it's been a year. We had a couple of other hosts.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
We got rid of LaToya and LaTavia.
Wow.
We kept Michelle and Beyonce.
Come on, man. Y'all, wow. It's super funny. I was talking to my friend Brittany last night, and I was like, yo, you remember when we was driving? I was listening to that podcast, and they kicked the chick off the show. And she was like, yeah, I remember that. I was like, yeah, I'm interviewing them in the bar.
Full circle, right?
Yeah, full circle.
Circle of life, boy.
Yeah, man. So
that's the classic episode,
we're going to, for sure, most definitely, we're going to talk about, your transition and creating new avenues. But what made you start IZM and you guys, you guys had actually auditions on the air.
Yeah, we did.
So what made you and Bri and Laila have that vibe where y'all could work together and the chemistry was on point?
Well, I have my own podcast, Tariq Radio, and that was very popular. And let's go back. I was doing, like as you mentioned, Mac Lessons Radio. Right. That was wild. That was like one of the earlier podcasts because that was before a lot of people were really doing them. And I did that in 2006. That became popular. And then when I started to tackle more serious issues, I just switched over and did the Tariq Radio show. And on my podcast, I tackle a lot of racial injustice, a lot of history, stuff like that. And a lot of people would want to go back to the old Mac lesson days, like, hey, man, I enjoy the up-to-date info, but I want some of that game, some of that ism. Right. I said, all right, I'll just do a separate podcast one day a week, and I have some female co-hosts in to bring balance to it, something new, something different.
Right.
So I decided to have some female co-hosts. So we had a couple of other people before. It didn't quite work out. Then we got Laila. Laila was already on after one of our earlier replacements.
Right.
And then we had to get rid of somebody else. There was some insubordinations. And I'm trying to be professional here.
Right.
So then we said, I'm going to have auditions on the air because people, when I had these other co-hosts there, the listeners would complain like, oh, that one is boring. Oh, that one is stupid. I said, okay, I'm going to have auditions.
And
y'all pick the goddamn host, all right? And everybody loved Bri. We brought a whole bunch of people in. We brought in a cute stud. We brought in a young girl. We brought in a bedwench. We brought in all types of people. But we had people vote, and everybody just loved Bri's personality. Right. Bri came in, and she was very natural, very smooth. The chemistry was right, so Bri has been working it out ever since, and we have a good time together.
Right. And now when we first started, we had 3 mics as well, and one of them was a woman, because at the time there was no women, especially on the urban side in podcasting, that were with men on it. It was either all men or all women.
Yeah.
But one thing I and shout out to Nadine, one thing that I like about you guys' show is it's a real natural flow to where y'all aren't talking over each other.
Right, right.
You realize, obviously you're the A mic, but you guys bounce off each other really well.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a lost art, because there's a lot of stuff I listen to and watch, and I'll be like, bro, I can't. Y'all talking at the same time.
Like, people are just clashing, the personality, they don't mesh. So we genuinely like each other. We hang out and have a good time.
Gotcha.
So that has a lot to do with it. And so when we get on air, it's just a transition of how we getting down. We have more fun off air. You know, we be telling the cameraman, hey, you should have filmed that. We be clowning. Right. It's like Bri just ripped her dress. Her whole ass is out right now.
Which is why I'm in the high chair.
So that's why she's in the high chair. So,
hilarious.
But yeah, the show goes on.
Yeah, the show goes on. So
exactly.
The behind the scenes stuff is better than what's on the air almost.
Right. Now you guys have been on the road for the last week or so, doing you guys are doing a reality show centering around black-owned businesses in different areas around the country. So what brought about that idea? Obviously, you always preach economic empowerment, but what brought about the idea to specifically do it around a reality show, and how has it been going so far?
Yeah, so we wanted to do a reality show anyway. We did a pilot a few months ago. That went real well. Everybody loved the pilot, and I wanted to add something else to the theme of the show. So I said, we're always talking about black empowerment and black business ownership. So a lot of times people go to cities and you don't know where the black businesses are.
Right.
So I wanted to do a show where we travel around the country and we spotlight numerous black businesses and just show what they're about, talk to the people, get to know the folks. And already we've been doing stuff and taking pictures on Instagram, and people are already like, hey man, where's that store? Where's that shop? Where's that soul food place? I'm in New Orleans. I want to go there. So we're already getting that. And it's interesting that people oftentimes don't even know who's who or where's where in their own city. Yep. Because a lot of times people don't advertise on TV. You don't get that much shine. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give shine to some of these underserved black businesses that are doing excellent work. Like today, we went to a place, what was the sister shop? Pretty Plates. It's in the cut, down in the hood. Some of the best food ever, though.
Okay.
I mean, unique. She had some lasagna cupcakes. I mean,
Look, and we put him on in his city.
Yeah. And folks don't know about this stuff. But they have other shows from the Dominant Society, like what's the guy, Anthony Bourdain, where he goes around.
100%.
Yeah, and they showcase businesses from other countries or whatever, but you don't see nobody really showcasing black businesses like that. So we wanted to be in the forefront of doing that.
Nah, that's super important, man. Yeah. We gotta spend money with each other for sure.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, and you talk about the Dominant Society, we'll jump right in, man. It's today I saw. I'm sure you know Raheem Shabazz, who does the school to prison pipeline.
Oh yeah. That's my dude.
So, right, exactly.
Elementary genocide. Yeah,
exactly. So he posted something about a place in Waco, Texas, where they kicked the black dude out of the restaurant because this white man wanted his seat with a better view. And he was like, nah, and they called the police and everything. And my first thought was, I guarantee you that you can drive by that place today and see somebody black sitting in there eating. Mm-hmm. Either because
like
they're
hungry coon,
or because they don't know what's going on. It's a lot of people that don't pay attention at all. So why is it, do you think that, we had the H&M situation, the Starbucks, the NFL on a grander scale of things? Why is it, do you think, we continuously spend our money with entities or companies or people who make it clear they don't give a damn about us?
Yeah, because and you made an interesting point. It's not that some people don't know what that restaurant did. There's some black folks out here who will know that these people are racist. Down in Birmingham, Alabama, last year, there was an Asian store owner who shot at a sister. And the Asian guy went to jail. They let him out. But he shot at a sister because they got into an argument. And the next day, there was a line around the corner. Negroes still trying to get Chinese food. See, back in the day, we live in L.A. When something like that happens, your store is going to be gone. That store is going to get burned the hell down because there was a certain revolutionary spirit then. Now they've groomed a new generation to accept coonery, to accept mistreatment, and we act like there's nothing wrong with that, and that's a very big problem. That's why I do my films, to try to wake folks up to get on code. We have no code whatsoever, and everybody else, when they get around us, they get on code, and that's been our problem. We have no code of conduct. We'll do anything just for selfish reasons. And when you do that, you weaken everybody else. This is why people like Bill Cosby get caught out like that. Because Bill Cosby, he thought, okay, I have $500 million, so I ain't like those other Negroes over there. And look what happened. They treated him just like every other Negro. Yeah. You got to be on code at all times, no matter who you are, if you're a person classified as black.
You've been speaking a lot about the Bill Cosby thing. And certain people, over time have brought up, how it's not just a coincidence that Meek Mill gets released from prison.
Yeah.
You know, what, a day or two before Bill Cosby is found guilty.
Exactly.
On the second, and how does double jeopardy not exist in this thing? Like, you get tried for the same thing twice.
Exactly.
In criminal court. And I'm not saying, you know, obviously Bill was with the shit, but it's a court of public opinion thing versus what he was actually tried for. So, and especially from the lady's perspective, which obviously sexual assault, rape, drugging people is a real thing. Women deal with all kind of shit that they don't even talk about a lot of times.
Yeah.
But what is the danger in this kind of situation happening on this grand scale where you're taking who most people look at from TV as the black guy?
Yeah.
And now he's about to go to jail and get hit with 1 million civil lawsuits.
Absolutely. That's the people in the dominant white society who believe in white supremacy flexing their muscle. They've always had fake rape cases against black dudes. They've always had that.
True.
From day one. And it's white feminist groups were the ones promoting that. And they make a lot of money on that. They'll say, hey, look, we're afraid of these black men raping us, so send us money so we can help make laws. And they make millions of dollars doing that. They've been doing that hustle. And with Bill Cosby, understand, these white feminist groups come out there and push their agenda, and they get millions of dollars in donations. These prosecutors send him to jail, and then they get book deals, they get reelected. So it's a big old money grab. Now, many of the women who accused Cosby were proven liars, straight up and down. Most of them, I won't even say many, most of them were proven liars. They try to say that some of the women were black too, but most of those women who were so-called black, they didn't identify as black. Like the one woman they got out there with that big fucking afro, Lily, something, I forget her name. She's Cuban. If you look at old pictures of her, she looks like a regular Latina, but her lawyers told her to go out there with this big fucking Michael Jackson afro and these bees looking like she's from damn Wakanda, and now she's running around there acting like she's black. So this is a big old hustle and a big old scam. But Bill should have been on code. The reason why they went after Bill, they knew that black folks backed up off Bill because Bill went on tour
pull your pants
on
up.
That pull your pants up shit.
Yeah.
You people gotta pull your pants up and stop being gangbangers, all that dumb shit. And black folks started backing up off Bill Cosby, and that left him vulnerable. So we gotta be on code at all times because we all victims of white supremacy are equal, as our brother Neely Fuller says.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's very true. And you spoke a lot about feminism, and that's been a real key term from the ladies, from your perspective, because like I said, you got to deal with this stuff on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
But being black,
yeah,
the feminist shit don't really work for black women. They never come to women's aid when you get beat up on the freeway by LA sheriffs or white feminist groups have never done anything for black women collectively, not one single solitary thing. Every time black women get their ass whooped by white cops or anybody else, they do nothing. There's black women been raped by white men for years without the white men being prosecuted. White feminist groups sat back and did nothing. They've done nothing then, they do nothing now, and unfortunately, whenever these white women snap their fingers, all these so-called black feminists go run and jump under them like goddamn plantation mammies. Right. And that's been a major problem. Because we call that bedwenching. Yeah. That's straight up bedwenching. That's them trying to get a pat on the head from the dominant white society. And we got to get that slave mentality out of our system. Nah, that's 100% true. You mentioned the movies earlier. Layla, have you watched them yet? Did you watch them?
He can't.
I'm just asking. Just asking.
I've finally seen them. Yes.
Okay. For those who don't know, Layla had not seen none of my movies.
Tariq's movie. So when I first started 2 years ago,
right,
and now I'm very familiar with all four of them.
Yes,
I've actually seen. I was at the premiere of 1804, so
yes.
I've seen that one. So I'm up to speed on Tariq.
Okay.
I'm up to speed, everybody.
Yes.
All right. So for you, how was it like not only going from being a literary person, writing books and doing podcasts, to doing movies, but also going from being what's labeled as a relationships guy, relationships author, to speaking about things in the conscious community? Both of those transitions, like how did you work those transitions? Because writing a book is completely and totally different from directing and producing a documentary.
Yes, with relationships and race always go hand in hand, because when you talk about relationships, you're talking about procreation ultimately. If you get in a relationship and date somebody, you might end up marrying them. You end up marrying them, you have a kid with them. And relationships and race go hand in hand because procreation and race has always been a big issue in America. Who you procreate with, who can marry who. There were laws against black men marrying white women. Black women were systematically raped by white males for years until they created whole mulatto races of people. So there's always been that connection. So I transitioned into books to tackle that because every time I would write my books, people would ask me little racial questions like, hey, I'm black, can I go to that club? Or, hey, I'm white, can I talk to this girl? Right. Or how is the game different for me? So I wanted to tackle race head on, and I was going to do a book on hidden secrets of racism and racial issues. I was going to write it in a book form before I started the Hidden Colors series. And I decided not to do it as a book because I said, if I do it as a book, people are going to think it's the regular old history book about slavery or Jim Crow. And I decided to do it as a documentary. And it was going to just be me talking about history. And I was going to call the film Secret Niggas. That was Hidden Colors was going to be Secret Niggas.
Foreword by Paul Mooney.
Yes. And I said, no, let me do something a little different. Secret Niggas might be too rough. Yeah. So let me get a bunch of speakers that I like and have them in the movie with me, and we'll call it Hidden Colors. Mm-hmm. We put it out, and that thing took off. It's the biggest selling black history documentary film series ever. And we still got them going on. We got up to part 4 right now. That's out. And I might start doing part 5 later on this year.
On average, how long does it take you to research for each one?
For each one, to do a Hidden Colors film, it takes about a year. It's a lot of work. And I'm talking about you're working every single day. Because filming it is one thing. Mm-hmm. See, documentaries are, you're filming everybody, you're traveling, you're doing that. That's one thing. But using the B-roll footage, meaning the archival videos and the archival pictures and documents, that's the tedious part because you got to search for the right documents. You got to research for documents that's been hidden already. That's the thing. We don't want to see stuff that you already know. So we got to get this information that's been deliberately buried. Right. So I got to do a lot of searching in museums overseas. I got to search in different languages. I got to have a research team. That's a tedious-ass process. And then we got to get it cleared. And when you call these museums and they know that you're black, they start asking a bunch of questions. Like when you try to get a picture of such and such, they're like, what's this for? And we try to downplay it. Oh, this is just for a school project. You know, we make it seem like it's about to be some little bitty shit. And then they charge us an arm and a leg for certain things. Also, footage don't exist. Like when we did the last movie, 1804, there's a lot of images that don't really exist for the Haitian Revolution. So we had to go and do reenactments. So then you got to hire another film crew. You got to hire a bunch of actors. You got to go to the costume shop. We had authentic French costumes for 1804. We had the original costumes for Roots in 1804. Oh, wow. Man, so we had that energy there. Then we had to go get the locations, get all that cleared. So it's a big process, man. But it's all worth it. That's why we try to make our stuff comparative to what's already out there. And that's why our stuff sells on the same level.
Right. For you, how much reading goes into it? Because you also got to make sure the people you're talking to actually know what they're talking about. For real.
And that's why you get some thorough scholars. Yeah. You know, we get people like James Small, brother Phil Valentine. We had Dr. Cress Welsing, Francis Cress Welsing, rest in peace. So you get people who you know are thorough. They've been doing this thing for years. So when they say something, you can almost guarantee when you research it, it does check out. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes I've had folks on there, you know, certain people who might say some things, and I'm like, okay, you look it up and you can't really find it. So, you know, we might not have them in there.
Editing
but,
process.
You know, you got to edit. You got to know who to have in, who not to have in. But for the most part, you get people who you're already familiar with, and you can be pretty self-assured in their information.
Definitely. We live in a time now where most people consume media through streaming services.
Yes, they do.
So, and I know, but a lot of times I know that those deals are not creator-friendly at all when you're going through the streaming services. So have you considered, you know, even if it's not a mainstream one, doing one with like Quality TV or something, so a whole new audience can see Hidden Colors?
They streamed Hidden Colors. That was one of their first films that they streamed on there. So I work with them, and they want to get 1804, and I just haven't had a chance to send it to them because I've been traveling so much. But yeah, I still work with them. I love the people at Quality TV. Really, the sister who owns that, good sister, man, and I love what they're doing over there.
Definitely. I wanted to ask you, I didn't even know about this at all. I was watching, I think it was your Instagram stories or something. You were talking about the person that allegedly hung themselves
Yeah.
over on the bridge right in Morris Brown that overlooks MLK.
Yeah.
And I like literally every story I found was like maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs max.
Yeah.
There wasn't much about it at all. And I was talking to people, like I live not far from there. And talking
It's
to
right
people,
around the corner. Yeah.
Like what? How did you hear about it for one? And then like, do you know any more about the story?
Yeah, people, a lot of information gets thrown at me every day. People tell me local stories because they know I'll get it out. I'll tell the truth about what's happening. So somebody actually sent me a video of the aftermath of the young man hanging. Wow. And I put it on my Twitter, and it went viral. There's almost 40,000 retweets on it. And we went over there yesterday once we got here to kind of look and investigate on our own to see what's what. And I'm trying to see the traffic in that area, how they got up there. And for those who don't know, it was a black man who they found hanging on the bridge over by Morris Brown College on Martin Luther King Drive. And they said that it was a suicide right after. I mean, they didn't really do an investigation. They just ruled it as a suicide and charged it to the game. And it doesn't look like a suicide. Understand, and I tell people this, the month of April is very significant to white supremacist groups because it's almost like a holy month for them. In April, you have Hitler's birthday, you have Confederate Day, you have Patriots Day, so that's very important to white supremacists. When you look at a lot of mass killings, they happen in April. Columbine happened in April. Waco happened in April. The Oklahoma City bombing happened in April. Dr. Martin Luther King was shot in April. There was a mass shooting a week before this young man was hung in Tennessee. Right. In April, that same weekend, out here in Georgia, there was a big white supremacist rally not too far. Yeah, you did. So this brother being found hung on a damn bridge on Martin Luther King Drive, it's too symbolic, it's too convenient, and it doesn't make sense for him to have committed suicide. It looks like one of these ritualistic murders that they commit in April. The brother had a chain around his neck. He had on a backpack. Who kills himself with a backpack? When people commit suicide, usually they do it in private. You do it somewhere at home. You do it privately. You're not going to make a big spectacle of your own suicide on a busy street and a busy bridge. That was meant for somebody to see. You understand? And there was another brother a couple of years ago in Piedmont Park out here hanging in a tree. So these are not no damn coincidences, and these are not suicides. So we have to investigate, and this is why we have to have our own media apparatus to go and tell the truth. And that's one of the reasons why we're out here traveling to tell what's going on in Black America, because everything we know about Black America gets filtered through the eyes of the dominant white society. And I was talking about this in New Orleans. When you think of black people in New Orleans, you think of a motherfucker with gold teeth, twerking, dusty, on crack.
That's what they show.
You think of somebody looking crazy, but we went there, beautiful black folks, business people, professional, some of the greatest people in the world. So we like to show that image. And also with Atlanta, I love Atlanta, but when you see Atlanta, what do you see? Atlanta housewives, women fighting on television. Right. You dig? Big hydrogel asses, all those, you dig? And niggas trapping out of a bando. But there's so much more to that.
Nah, you're 100%.
And I ain't shitting on the niggas trapping in the bando.
Right. Nah, you're 100%. When people ask me when they come to town, like, oh, what should I do? It's like, do you want real Atlanta or do you want TV Atlanta?
Oh,
I can tell you either one. It's just two different things completely. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned all of the weird things about the hanging. The thing I read that was so crazy to me was they said they found the keys to the locks that were on the chain in his pocket. And I was like,
why would he put them in his pocket?
Why would you put them in your pocket?
To get them later after the suicide? That clearly shows somebody planted the shit in his pocket. Yeah, they're like, it was suicide because he put it in his pocket before he killed himself. That makes no sense.
Exactly. You know? So I know you guys have been traveling, so you may not have seen all the fuckery that ensued today with this Kanye West.
We've been seeing little clips.
They finally released the Charlemagne interview, which is like an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
Very well shot. The only thing I took from that, he did admit that he was on meds. Currently, he wouldn't say what the meds were.
It's called Coons meds.
I can't like. I gotta give it up to
not codeine, Coondine.
It was a good interview. You could tell he finessed what he needed to finesse out without, making Kanye flip out like, oh, this is it. I'm ending the interview. Right. But then today, he goes on TMZ. And says that the one thing that people took is that slavery was a choice. Yeah. After 400 years, why we still like we outnumbered white people
Yeah.
in this country during that period.
Wow.
Like I didn't
Kardashian.
really understand that logic. What do you think that this is a logical, strategic thing from him, or do you think he's spiraling out of control?
Man, he's a coon. See, the thing is, we try to overthink coons. And the thing is, when these niggas get around people who are white, and he's up there around them Kardashians, he's around Bruce Jenner, whoever the fuck Bruce is today.
Right.
And Bruce Jenner's a Trump supporter for real.
Yeah.
You know, the people talk all that Trump don't like gays or whatever, or he don't like trans people, but those trans people sure support Trump's ass because Trump is team white supremacy. So Kanye is around a bunch of people who are not really about any kind of black empowerment. So when you get around people like that and they're not taking on your ideology about black empowerment or black equality, you're going to take on their ideology, which is racism don't exist like that no more. All you got to do is act better. All you got to do is carry yourself a certain way and you won't experience racism. So that's the kind of bullshit that's getting in his brain, and he's trying to play it off like, okay, I'm on meds, but no, meds don't make you a coon. That just lets you be who you are, period. So he's just being who he is, and he's always shown signs of a little coonery. You dig? So we got to understand, just because you can produce beats good, you still a damn coon.
Right. How do you feel about artists using, I guess, the plight of people to market their products? Because I feel like essentially that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's pandering to that white supremacist Trump crowd because that's the big audience, and they pay. They do give up money, just like Roseanne. Roseanne, she rebooted her show, and she's a Trump supporter on her show, and I mean they got record ratings on that. You understand? So that racist money is big money. That's why certain corporations, they will put out a commercial with a little racist theme, an anti-black theme, and then apologize, but the work is almost already done. Yeah. Just like H&M, that clothing store, they put out an ad with a little boy with the monkey. They know exactly what they were doing. That wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
Marketing people sit up and have meetings in and out all day. They know what's going to work. They know the reaction they're going to get. They know what was going to happen. So they knew it would be controversial, and they knew that a certain sector of society would be offended, but a certain sector of society will gravitate towards H&M now. So they know what they were doing. They're pandering to that white supremacist Trump crowd.
Because Kanye has an album coming out, so that's, I mean, he dropped this,
albums coming out, so I'm like, is this marketing?
Definitely,
and Kanye knows black folks don't go to his concerts like that, so he knows where his bread is buttered. He can offend black folks because he knows that he has a white supremacist audience that will support his stuff.
And it's unfortunate because so many black people are waiting for Ye. Like, everybody's like waiting for the old Ye. We waiting.
We're going to be waiting.
We're going to be waiting. There's a reason Jay-Z don't fuck with him like that, you know? When some of the legends don't rock with him. But Kanye has to do stuff, you know, he has to attention whore in order to make his presence known because you got too many thorough people out here. You got lyricists like J. Cole. You got people out here who are thorough. You got legends like Jay-Z, speaking of Jay-Z. You got Kendrick Lamar out here spitting. You got people who are respected in the streets like Nipsey Hussle. You got other producers out here who are thorough. So when Kanye gets into the arena and he's not coming correct with his music, he has to do all this extra shit to make a presence, you know?
Yeah. It's always been that. Even going back to the 50 Cent Kanye battle to see who would,
publicity.
Like they weren't under the same distributor.
It's
all a game at the end of the day. Yeah, but it's crazy. He's pushing the envelope a little too far.
This time around it's going too far.
Yeah,
I think T.I. said one of the most poignant things about this, and he was like, when was the last time you seen Kanye in a room with people that he didn't put in the room?
That's a very interesting.
And it goes back to, we had a Rhyme Fest on around when the last Kanye album came out, and he was going to work with him. And like maybe a week later, he was just like, he's too far gone.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Like
they have a song together out right now.
Didn't Rhyme Fest used to write for him?
They came up together. Rhyme Fest runs Donda's house, which is the thing that his mother put together before she passed, the foundation. So he's still involved, but he was like, it's too much. Like he's too far gone, which is really crazy.
That's sad, actually.
Wow. Coming back to you, Tariq, it obviously, we've heard. We used to put on the thing when the feds came to your house and all of that. I'm sure you get 1 million death threats. And all kind of niggas on your timeline because
and white supremacists. It's really, I get a lot of white supremacists making.
No, what I meant, people calling you niggas.
Oh yeah.
And that being said, what made you make the conscious decision to still show your wife and your kids and your family life on social media and on video when a lot of times when people are in that kind of public eye and speak the truth, they keep that shielded away?
Yeah, well, they're going to see it anyway. I don't want people trying to leak pictures and stuff like that. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? So I would rather just do it myself because I don't want people lurking over my gate and lurking at my house and waiting on me at the airport and all that stupid stuff. So I'm like, look, this is what it is. I know I get threats and all that. I protect myself. I protect the family. And a lot of people are like, hey, man, you shouldn't be so outspoken. But you got to understand this. Even if you are not outspoken, you see the cops blowing motherfuckers' brains out.
It's real tough.
Either way. You got niggas actively cooning. Just like this cat up there. Devontae, Stephen Clark up there in the Bay. Up there in the Bay, by the Bay.
Sacramento,
that's right. That's right. Let me get it. Yeah, that's right. The Bay, Oakland don't like that bullshit.
Get it right.
My Oakland cats be like, hey, nigga, this ain't Sac, nigga. That's something else. All right, you're right. My bad. Because a lot of times us from SoCal, we put all y'all in the same man. Right. Yeah, they're quick to check that. But before he got killed, unfortunately, he was online cooning. He was only fuck a black bitch. I don't want no black bitches and all lives matter and blew his fucking brains out. Yeah. You think so? Cooning ain't gonna save you. So I would rather, if I go out, I'm going out telling the truth on my damn feet instead of groveling like a damn coon.
Real talk. Staying in Chicago a little bit. And I'm really curious to know what Bri and you, Tariq, think about this. Why is it that after almost 20 years of us knowing that R. Kelly was a dirtbag, messing with underage women, now there is a full-fledged movement to mute him and to stop listening to his music and black people coming out against? We've known this.
Yeah.
Like, it's millions of us who've been stopped fucking with R. Kelly. But why is it that now it's a big thing?
I think it has a lot to do with the Me Too.
Now that white people are going to use R. Kelly to thrive and fuel their movement. Yep. That's the only reason why it's making a big deal now. Those white women, the National Women's Lawyer Committee and the Time's Up, all of these are white women organizations. When they snap their fingers, all of these black minions from some of these black publications, they get online and they start shitting on Kelly. I'm like, okay, if you want to shit on R. Kelly, you do it on your own. Don't wait for white people to snap their fingers. That's the thing I don't like. Yeah. Exactly. Don't do it because the thing is, I'm not joining with them against no black person because you got too many Harvey Weinsteins, Charlie Sheens, all of these pedophile groups in Hollywood, white, and nobody's prosecuting them. So prosecute them, then holler at me about R. Kelly. And I ain't co-signing none of R. Kelly's fuckery, but we're going to have to get some of these other folks first before I jump on a damn bandwagon about pedophilia or whatever. There's a movie that they had banned out of Hollywood called An Open Secret. It was done in 2014. A white woman did it. It was exposing pedophile groups in Hollywood. I mean, they got active pedophile groups of several producers who are convicted pedophiles working for Disney, Nickelodeon, all this shit, and they buried that movie. They would not let that woman put the movie out. She eventually put it out on Vimeo or something like that, put it out for free. But this stuff goes on, and they protect each other. So don't make R. Kelly the face of pedophilia before you get all of the real hardcore pedophiles. And that's not to excuse him, but we ain't going to start double dipping and jumping over folks to get after black folks. Just like with Cosby. I wasn't co-signing nobody going after Cosby because you have Harvey Weinstein with A-list actresses saying he raped them.
Yeah.
You got A-list.
Heavy evidence.
You dig? And there's audio of him trying to sexually harass a woman. I mean, they've been investigating this man for years.
In this millennium.
And with Cosby, they're talking about he touched the woman's titty back in 1970. You know?
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
And they devastated to this day.
Exactly. And they were in court straight up lying. Those women got caught in several lies in court with Cosby, and they still convicted them. So that means they were on code. So we got to stay on code.
100%. Most definitely. Going back to the movies a little bit, we have a lot of creatives that listen to the show, that watch the show. What advice would you give, like real technical, basic advice that you give to people that want to get into shooting documentaries and making them look like Hollywood documentary.
Yes, indeed. What we have to do, black folks, and I tell black filmmakers this all the time, you got to make sure your audio is together. A lot of us focus on visuals. We'll focus on getting the camera, getting a certain lens, and it looks good because a lot of us, when we get into filmmaking, black folks will start doing music videos first.
Right.
So with videos, you're using an audio track.
About the audio.
Right, you don't have to worry about it because you're using an audio track, so you focus on the visuals of it, the editing and the visuals, and it looks good and it's color corrected correctly, so you're not worrying about the sound. And then when you try to do a documentary, you go get your cousin to hold up a little bullshit-ass microphone that they got at Target, and then it sounds garbage. You gotta have your audio on fleek. I cannot stress that enough. Audio is very important when it comes to any kind of documentary or narrative film. So always focus on the audio.
Got you. You had done a horror movie a few years ago.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah. And that's the only scripted joint you've done so far.
That's the only scripted one I did. We did it out here in Atlanta. We came out here. Ola, what year was it when we came out here to do the Eugenics? It's called the Eugenics. 2012, yeah. Yeah, man, we came out here. We shot that movie in a week. We shot it in 1 week. We were on a shoestring budget. Man, we shot it at a school. What was the name of the school? And this is how we were on a tight schedule. The school was still going on. We would shoot after school. Come on, so, man. I swear to God.
That's just desperate.
School was still in session.
Recess almost over.
So we're like, we coming in.
Losing light.
Once the school was over, we had to rush in there. We didn't even shoot whole days. I mean, we would shoot from
recess?
3?
From 5 to
1 in the morning, yeah.
We were only supposed to be in there for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we were in there for man.
Gotta get it like you live.
It looked good. That's the only. We had trouble with some of the actors. We had a couple of actors. We found out they couldn't really act
After the fact.
Did
they audition?
Yes, we had to audition on Skype.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't want to. I was trying to be cheap and not bring a bunch of people in from LA. So trying to get motherfuckers down here who ain't never acted, and I had people like, I am coming to get you. How dare you bite me, zombie? Well, fuck. Cut. You get eaten by a zombie. How you die fucked up? Ouch! Don't bite me, zombie. Ouch!
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But we had a ball doing it, though. And the movie does good overseas. They love it over there in, Ukraine and shit. So they love that shit.
And I literally just heard about this movie today.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's called
Literally
The Eugenics.
today.
You can see it it's on iTunes. The Eugenics. During Halloween, that shit be popping off. People get it.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, man.
Do you plan to do any more scripted joints at some point?
We're going to do, I got a crime thriller that we're going to do. We'll possibly shoot it down in Miami Gardens, or we might shoot it in L.A. I don't know yet, but we got a narrative film where we got some young folks, and I did the script already, and it's going to be a crime thriller. So hopefully we'll do that later on this year.
And I'm going to be the lead.
One of the lead.
No, but don't be trying to back up now that we on the air.
She's trying to put it on camera. I'm going to be the lead. You said it, guys.
You know the script is like they're teenagers. Can you pass 14?
I can play a teenager.
Can you pass 14?
Don't I look like a teenager?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got this.
I feel like a teenager from Atlanta. You know, they be thick as hell.
I got this. I'm going to show you my chops.
So we got to get some baby hair on you like Layla. And some braces.
Hilarious.
Man.
Yo, you were speaking on the other, a couple days ago, the Issa Rae thing.
Oh, man, yeah.
So it's funny, I had never read the book, but I remember her saying that in an interview before, the same thing. Yeah. Why is it that you think people are just now jumping on it?
Yeah, people, for those who don't, Issa Rae from the show Insecure, and I like the show. I think Insecure is a very good show.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah, but there's always been, people have complained there's a bedwench vibe about Issa Rae. And Issa Rae, people discovered in her book where she said, well, black women should start dating Asian men. And they tried to pass it off where she's just doing satire, but she's actually said the same thing, like you said, in interviews before. Right. So she's not really joking. So people felt a certain way about that because you have Asian dudes out here, these shop owners, these nail shop owners, these store owners that's beating black women up.
This is true.
As a matter of fact, one of these Asian dudes a few years ago put out a study talking about the black women are the most unattractive. It was an Asian dude who did that. Remember that? That was an Asian doctor who did that. you got these Asian dudes who have vitriol not just for black people but for black women, and they look at black women as soft targets, so they will harm them. So for her to sit up and say that, that was a slap in the face to black people in general.
Right.
Coonin is Coonin.
And she's from L.A., so that's
what was her reason for saying that, though?
The reason was
the reason?
That black women are the most non-sought, and Asian men are the most non-sought. So we should join forces. And that Asian men are very smart.
But I thought we were pretty sought out.
No, not as of today.
I mean, sought by who is the question.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the main thing.
Exactly.
That was her reasoning, though.
Right, okay.
It's like, okay, we are the two outcasts. We should join forces.
Maybe it's the L.A. thing. Maybe because, a lot of times black women in L.A. often talk about black men don't like black women in L.A.
Right.
Which
that is
bullshit.
very true.
Right.
Nah, it's sucker niggas that don't like black women in L.A.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Niggas that still wear S-curls in 2018.
I was just telling Bri that.
Like
I was just telling Bri, the guys in L.A. that don't like black women, I don't like them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them no way.
It's some corny niggas.
Yeah, they corny and they're coons. Well, I don't want no corny-ass coons, so have fun.
Corny and a coon. It's a double negative.
A lot of times women go to these industry things in Hollywood, and it's like an industry vibe, and these niggas, they trying to be something else. That ain't really L.A. That ain't real L.A.
At all, definitely. What are you reading right now, man?
What am I reading? I'm reading a few books. I'm reading this book, Three Kings. It's a book about...
you would a white dude told me about this book.
About Puffy, Jay-Z. It's a good book. Because it's talking about how they got their money up, the business deals they made, and I like reading shit like that. I like to see what kind of price points they got on contracts.
Right.
They talk about the deal that 50 Cent had with Vitamin Water, just a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I like to read stuff like that. I like to see the kind of moves and shakes dude did behind the scenes to get their money game up. That's why I like when Quick was on you guys' show. Quick was dropping some real good behind the scenes.
That story about second to none.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That money.
They thought they were the Illuminati and all. They got scared of money. And niggas get scared of money, man.
That's true.
When it comes to making some money, when people see big numbers, niggas start freaking out because they think, okay, I'm scared of this. I don't know what to do.
If you've never read The Big Payback, you should read that.
I read The Big Payback. Love that book. Any hip hop books, man, about hip hop and money, I done read it, or the history of hip hop. I'm a real big fan of just the culture of hip hop.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah.
Now, speaking of the whole music thing, you released a single.
This our pop star.
She been calling him a pop star. She been calling
Tariq is our very own pop star.
He comes late now. He shows up late.
Hilarious.
All of a sudden.
Yeah,
he got his sunglasses on. So the Mink Slide project, man, like how did that come about, man? What are your plans?
What's interesting? I've been wanting to see black artists do traditional R&B.
Right.
I've been waiting on that for a long time, and when it comes to black artists, they got to do a song, and it has to be a pop hit right out the gate. Mm-hmm. Whereas a white group or a non-black group, they can put out an R&B record, and the label will work that record for them. They will give them more time and leeway to work their record and build up momentum.
Right.
So they can nurture an R&B record. So what they're doing now, when you see R&B, you see Post Malone, you see Bruno Mars, what's that white woman, Adele? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's R&B now. Yeah.
Sam Smith.
Right. Robin Thicke, Justin Timberlake. So I wanted to do a traditional, old school, 80s style, 90s style R&B project. And that's what we're doing with Mink Slide. If you look at the cover of our single, me and my partner Johnny, we're on there like Miami Vice.
Right.
That's what we're going for, that whole 80s, 90s vibe. And we're almost done with the album. The album is called Egyptian Musk. My old school head, y'all know what
Egyptian. That's about as 80s as it gets.
You can't get no more 80s than Egyptian Musk. So we're really going for that vibe. When you hear this record, the album, it sounds like a lost record from the 80s. When you hear it, you're like, damn, what year did this come out? And that's exactly the vibe we're going for.
That's what's up. And are you going to do it straight up independent?
Oh, yeah. Because, man, we put out the single. The single, man, it reached like number 8 on the top R&B songs on iTunes, and it went to number 3 on the Google R&B iTunes. I mean, on the Google R&B charts. I mean, we were like right behind Bruno Mars and that Post Malone dude.
Yeah.
And our record is independent, and it's an R&B record that's independent, which is very hard to do an R&B record to rise up the charts like that. Because a rap record, you can put out a rap record, and it's a novelty record or whatever, and it'll rise. It doesn't have to be on a major label. But that was we got a real good buzz based on that. So I'm very excited about the album coming out this summer.
Do you plan on doing any touring behind it?
Oh yeah. We're gonna do some touring. It was a group, as a matter of fact, who I brought to LA, who's here, the APX. They're fun.
Yeah, we had them on the show.
Oh yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah,
they're pretty dope too.
They dope as shit, man. They bad as hell. So they do the same thing along the same veins we do, and I brought them up there. They worked on some songs. We got a single with them. So we getting that whole network back. I had a brother named Dame Funk who does Dame's bad brother. He's working on the album. So it's popping. We're going to get this thing cracking.
What's up, man? That's good to hear. Are y'all going to do some backups and all of that?
They were in the video. They were in the video.
He was in the video. He had us in the studio.
Yeah.
Did you see that when he had us in the studio?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That wasn't that great, but, we're working on it. We're working on it.
We're going to keep going back till we get it right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Baby steps.
I want to get Layla raps.
Okay.
Layla raps.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. I got to get her rhyming. Her rap name is Rogue.
Yep.
And
He bringing Rogue back.
Yes. What's Bri's rap name? Don't Bree got a rap? What's Bree's rap name?
I don't have a rap name.
Bree don't have a rap name, but she
You're lying. You definitely have a rap name.
Everybody got a rap name.
I've never had a rap name.
Oh my God.
Everybody has written
a rap.
4 bars of rapping.
No, I write other people's stuff down in there.
Bree, you've never written at least 4 bars.
No,
ever.
but I can rap the hell out of somebody
I don't
else
believe
stuff.
everybody.
That dope dealer boyfriend you had gave you a rap name at some point. Because you're from Chicago. Stop it.
I was his good girl.
You trying to say Bree was a trap queen?
I didn't say you was bagging up nothing. I just said y'all was in a relationship. That's all I said. Not trying to incriminate you, bro.
Please don't. Please.
Saying Bree was dating Frank Lucas. She was bagging up cocaine with her titties out. I ain't gonna steal nothing, Daddy.
Yo, hilarious.
Lord.
Nah, but that's definitely what's up, man. That's good. Because I remember when you would do your Sunday show and you'd have your studio equipment, and I thought you was just messing around.
Everybody thought that.
Yeah.
Dead ass serious.
Nigga, when I be done with my show, I be in there like goddamn Dr. Dre on your ass.
He invited us to the studio one time, and I went in there like, what the hell? This shit is legit.
Yeah.
He sung at first. He never told us. He's just like, hey, you and Bree just come by the studio. And we like, I said, Bree said, do you know what this is? I said, I don't know what this is. We walked in, and he was
They
singing.
came in looking like groupies. Looking like, cool. Lord, is Tank in here?
Hilarious.
No, we had a good time. We had a real good time in the studio.
So how did you meet your partner, the white cat in the group?
Oh, Johnny, man. I was going to have him on another hip-hop project. He was going to he's a choreographer.
Okay.
A choreographer, rather. And me and him, he's a real big hip-hop head. Gotcha. And we would chop up game about, hip-hop dances and all that. And I'm like, man, let's get a group popping and just get this thing popping. Because he's into that old school thing, too. So that we just vibe, man. And this brother dances his ass off. So, man, he's from Russia, too. That's another. So we got that international appeal. That's why our stuff pops off overseas. So it was good because we have a cool personal relationship and for marketing purposes too. And the whole Miami Vice 80s theme.
Yeah.
That ties all in. It made sense.
Got you. We're going into, here in Georgia, we have the primary for the governor thing. The black ladies running Stacey Abrams or whatnot. And I know that you have you talk a lot about using your vote as power, whether it's voting or not voting, but using it as power and leverage. So what are your thoughts on this midterm election coming up?
Now, I don't know too much about the election, but if this sister is running...
Well, just overall, because everybody's going into the midterm,
And we should put people on the ballot or support people on the ballot who's doing our bidding. Yeah. Because the thing is, they'll put a black person out there and they're like, shit, we'll vote for him or her. They black. We got to vote for him. And that'll be a big motherfucking coon whose team white supremacy, they get up there and have all types of 3-strike laws and niggas going to jail left and right.
Yep.
So we got to know who that person is working for when we put them out there. You understand? Because they could put another Kanye somewhere, somebody's mayor.
Right.
You dig? And he's in the hip-hop. He's a hip-hop producer, but Kanye is 100% coon now. So we got to know what they're going to do for black people and not let them talk in code like minority, people of color, women of color, immigrants, the poor, the input. No. What are you doing for black folks? And make them verbally say what they're going to do and make a verbal commitment.
Agreed 100%. The irony is there's a white guy that's running. It's about 4 people running for the governor here. And the white guy is literally mentioning the Constitution and pointing a gun at this teenage boy sitting next to him in the commercial. He's like, and what do I say when you come to try to date one of my daughters?
I'm Brian Kemp. This is Jake, young man interested in one of my daughters.
Yes, sir.
Jake asked why I was running for governor. I said 1.
Cap government spending.
2.
Take a chainsaw to regulations.
3.
Make Georgia #1 for small business.
And 2 things if you're going to date one of my daughters.
Respect.
And?
A healthy appreciation for the Second Amendment, sir.
We're going to get along just fine.
And it's in the commercial, right?
And it's airing in Atlanta?
Out here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing what people are getting away with nowadays.
Oh, that's coded. He's sending dog whistle messages to his constituency, man. So they're getting bold. So this is why we got to get our own people up there and have them do our bidding for us.
Definitely, most definitely. Man, please tell people where they can reach y'all, where they can find you, where they can support, listen, watch, buy the products, the whole nine.
You can check us out at IZMRadio.com. That's where we do our podcast every Tuesday, IZM Radio. You can also check out Tariq Radio, TARIQ radio.com. Follow me on Instagram at Tariq Elite. Follow me on Twitter at Tariq Nasheed. Ladies, where can these beautiful people find you guys?
Okay, before I say my Instagram, I just want to say that me and Bri, we have a lookbook coming out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
yes,
think
yes.
about like a calendar without the months, and we have some, you want to see it. Just think
Okay.
about a nice, sexy calendar. So that's coming out really, really soon. So you want to see that. My Instagram is MSLAILALOPEZ, which is Miss Laila Lopez.
And you can find me on IG at It's Bri Small, ITSBRISMALL. Check me out, guys.
I follow you, I believe.
You
shit.
do?
Oh, shit. Yo, because you never spell it right, so every time I be I'm just fucking with you. Yo, also, dude, I know you spoke about Facebook a lot, and it's crazy. Did you peep today how they're putting this hate speech check on like everything on Facebook? Forbes did somebody they screenshot something I wrote about sports, and it was like, is this hate speech? Yes or no? But apparently Forbes did a story, and they was putting it on everything, ads, the whole nine. And I know you always talk about how Facebook is very much like real funny about what they allow and what they don't allow.
Yeah, man. Facebook, man, they're the gatekeepers of white supremacy. That's why I don't post on Facebook that much, man, because Facebook, I say simple shit. They would ban me for a month. I would just say, hey, man, we got to stop these Nazis. And then I'm banned for saying Nazi.
30, you on a 30-day
No
suspension.
context.
Yeah, no context at all. And they had, remember, on Facebook, they had a picture of Trayvon Martin's dead body circulating for a long time. They wouldn't take it off. Yeah. So they protect these white supremacist groups on Facebook all day. So, I stick with the Twitter and Instagram. And Instagram is a little funny style, too. Sometimes they'll take
getting
it.
there, yeah.
They're getting it because they're owned by Facebook.
Yeah, same
You
company.
dig?
Yeah,
So,
same company.
this is why we got to hit the bricks and just keep information circulating among ourselves like that.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, appreciate y'all coming through, man. Hopefully
Man.
y'all have a great time
We're gonna
on the
have
road.
a-
What's
we-
the next city?
We're going to Chicago
Chi-town,
Thursday.
we're going to the
Cold
crib.
ass Chicago Thursday. But we here in Atlanta, man. We got a Dodge minivan on y'all bitches. We rolling in a rental. We just got a rental. We rolling dirty.
But wait, y'all don't know Tariq was getting in the car like, oh my God. I'm in a Dodge minivan. Oh my God.
Man,
He got a record out. He used them Sprinter vans and limos. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. To bougie for the bullshit.
man, I'm in Miami in a Ferrari with the
Right.
top down. Now I'm rolling like a big fucking soccer mom.
They thought you had the kids with you, man.
Wait, when does this air? Because we want to talk about our meet and greet, right?
Yeah, this is going to air. When is this going to air, brother?
I'm actually you putting it out right now? Or yeah, we're live right now.
Oh, yeah, we're doing
the
a meet and greet. We're doing a meet and greet tomorrow, 7 o'clock at Moda 404.
Oh, that's crazy. We went to school together. That's
Oh, yeah,
what's up.
yeah. We're going to showcase his business and just meet the people. Come on down, chop it up with us. We got some DVDs. Y'all can come get some Mink Slide shirts.
T-shirts,
Some
posters.
posters, autographed posters of these two lovely ladies.
That's the preview of the
the
lookbook.
lookbook, okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Most
indeed.
definitely. And and we live. So after y'all leave, what time is the joint?
It's tomorrow.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock
7
tomorrow.
o'clock. And after y'all leave at 7 o'clock, come down to Jack's Pizza and Wings on Highland for the 2-year anniversary of Hip Hop Trivia ATL with me and my brother Maurice Garland. It's going to be live. We got a few special guests. Can't really tell y'all who it is yet. And we have some prizes from Epic and Aku and a bunch of other brands that we're giving away to our supporters, people that's been rocking with us for the last 2 years. So we appreciate y'all listening, appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next week with another dope show.
Cool.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.